Over the past 2 years, we've come to know Turia Pitt very well on 60 Minutes. Her story of survival from horrific burns is heartbreaking, hugely inspirational, and full of love with her amazing boyfriend, Michael. They are a beautiful couple, and I can say without doubt Turia is the strongest person I know. She's had some incredible developments in her life lately, some positive, some very challenging, and she's reached a major milestone. The time has come for Turia to remove her mask. For 2 years, Turia has lived in this mask. And for all that time, she's been looking forward to this moment. Taking it off for good.
I've done really well with the mask. Like, I've worn it pretty much 23 hours a day.
Is it liberating to get the mask off?
Yeah, I suppose. It's just like anything, you get used to it. So I was really used to the mask.
Used to it in what way?
Well, it just becomes like normal. So I felt naked without my mask on.
The mask has helped smooth Turia's facial scars, but has also become her identity to those who didn't know her before the fire.
Go, Turia! I'm glad I've worn it, but now, I don't need to wear it anymore.
It's good to see you.
I think I might burn the mask.
That'd be symbolic, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Have a big bonfire. Burn the bloody thing.
And with good reason. As Turia puts it, she's been to hell and back. At 24, this bright mining engineer signed up for a 100-kilometre outback marathon. This is Turia on the course in September 2011. She's powering through the Kimberley. But just a few hours later, she'd be fighting for her life after being trapped in a raging bushfire.
She was literally cooked. I've not had a patient with such a deep burn survive. Not. Ever. Ever.
Suffering burns to 70% of her body, Turia's fight back has simply been extraordinary.
How's the mask feel?
Better.
Better, eh?
It's been a battle shared with Michael, Turia's boyfriend.
I thought if she can walk in agony, and do all the physio that they're asking her, I can be there in the morning and give her breakfast and be there all the time. That's easy for me.
And today, for the first time since the fire, Turia's ready to sit in front of a mirror, get made up, mask-free, and celebrate surviving.
It looks good, Bunny. Thanks so much. I'm really happy. Correct.
It's a big reveal and surprise, especially for Michael.
Hello.
Hey! You're beautiful.
Thanks, darling.
Oh, makeover, eh?
Yeah, makeover.
Oh, well done. Are you happy?
Yeah.
For 2 years, we followed Turia's progress and seeing this amazing couple commit everything to Turia's recovery. Even if that means going halfway around the world, which they did earlier this year. Why are you here in France?
Well, I'm just taking a punt, really. Like, I heard about the clinic and I just thought I'd just go for it and just see what it's like, and it's fantastic.
The clinic in the south of France is a world leader in burns rehabilitation. So what's it like living here?
Oh, I'm loving it.
And Turia has checked in without Michael. It's a big step to come here on your own.
Yeah, but I just thought it was time to man up and take that step. And before the accident happened, I was a really independent young woman.
Yeah.
And after the accident, I lost all my independence.
Yeah.
So it's really important to me to get that back.
It's a 6-week course of intensive treatment. Turia's scars and grafts have become thick and constrictive. Here, they work on smoothing her skin and stretching muscles. It's painful. But the work is not all physical. Psychologically, Turia's getting ready to stop wearing the mask.
Now, as I'm getting to the stage where I've got a lot of mobility and independence back, I'm more concerned now with my appearance, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Concerned in what way?
Well, when I look at photos of myself from before, I just think, you know, bloody hell, I was actually really good looking. And I'm a really determined person, so I'll try and get as much of that back as I can. Yeah. I'm not just gonna accept the way things are now and say, oh, this is me for the rest of my life. No way.
Turia's recovery here in France, and time alone, has opened the door to some soul-searching.
There's a little piece inside of me which the fire didn't get to, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it may have taken away my body, but there's still a piece inside of me which is still that independent woman who's very determined.
Coming here has helped you discover that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's shown me that I'm actually still Turia. Even I may look different, but I'm still me.
And Michael accepts and loves Turia for exactly that.
So how's the clinic going?
Yeah, it's amazing. Really.
He knows beauty is so much more than skin deep.
Is that the Louvre over there?
I think so, yeah, that's it.
They cherish weekends away from the clinic.
Did I put your arm around me, darling? Because I'm really cold.
And what better place than Paris to just be together?
Where is she? Oh, is she? Oh!
Back at home on the New South Wales south coast, Turia's mum, Celestine, has missed her girl.
But she looks French. She looks French.
If you want to know the source of Turia's amazing spirit, look no further. Celestine has been so important to Turia's healing. And after 2 years of constant care, remedial and emotional, Turia's trip to France gave her mum the first chance to let go. How did you go when she went to France?
I had my mental breakdown. I held it, for a year and a half. But when she went, and I knew she was in a good place with Michael, I allowed myself to I couldn't move in bed and be telling myself, get up. But I thought, okay, I'm grieving now. It's okay.
But it all hit you when she went away?
Yes.
Wow.
The
Because
absence.
I think up until then, I had been really focused on getting me better.
You understand these fragile emotions when you look back at those early days in hospital.
Not feeling too good at the moment, Turia, are ya?
Turia's happy to show this vision for the first time, proud of how far she's come.
Just putting the cream on one side of my face.
I had tubes coming out of me everywhere. And then just to go something where you're not even recognisable anymore. And you just think, well, how can I still be that sporty and active Turia when I can't even get out of bed?
Before the fire, Turia was extremely fit. And despite the burns and muscle waste after months in hospital, she was determined to get fit again.
9. Go.
And her achievements are staggering. Only a year ago, Turia's aims were simple.
I just want to be functioning again. I just want to be able to touch my face and those types of things.
Now, she can do much more than that. Leaps and bounds doesn't come close to describing Turia's fitness and flexibility. But the big emotional plunge has been, quite naturally, coming to terms with burns to her face. When the time was going to come for you to see yourself for the first time.
Yeah.
How did you prepare for that moment?
Well, it happened inadvertently. And I'd been asking everyone, oh, how do I look? And they just said, oh, you just look a bit different, but you'll be right. So I just thought, oh, okay, so I don't have any hair and I just look a bit different. And then I saw my reflection in my iPad and I just lost it. Like, I was inconsolable. And there's nothing that they could really say. And I also felt silly for caring so much because I never considered myself to be vain. You know, because I'd always had nice looks and I never thought about it. And I thought girls who spent ages getting ready looking in the mirror were a bit vain. And then I realised that I'm just as vain as anyone else, really.
Michael, had you been protective up to that point?
I suppose, yeah. I just said, you know, you need to nose reconstruction.
Yeah.
They've shaved your hair, and I said your skin's different, but it will get better. You know, it's going to take years, but you'll get better.
Yeah, and I was really pissed off at everyone.
Why?
They've just been saying, oh, you look a bit different. When in reality, I looked like shit. Like, I looked really bad.
They were just trying to look out for you, though. They were trying to protect you.
I know, but that was just like, you've lied to me. Yeah, that's just how I was feeling. And I know now it's not, like, what else are you going to say to someone that's been burnt?
Michael could have walked away, said it was all too hard. But he's been at Turia's side from the moment she was rescued in the outback. 16 operations, endless hospital visits, every small step back from near death.
It's like you're in the...
Yeah, but it was
like you were thrown in the flames of hell. That's literally where you were, the flames of hell, and you've had to crawl your way back. So they've gone, all right, here's a taste of hell, and you've gone, well, I'm not going there just yet. That's what I believe, you know, you've come back from there.
Yeah, right.
If you look at it that way, that's the way I look at it.
It's an amazing way to put it.
Yeah. If there is a hell, she's been there and she's back. And I don't know why you had to go there, because you're such a good person, but you've been there.
Hey!
How are you?
How are you going?
Good to see you. You well?
Yeah, I'm well. Just going
give you
in,
a kiss, are we?
going in for yet another operation.
What's today?
They're just going to have a look at my nose to try and work out what they're going to do with that. Mm-hmm. And I'm also having some scars, like shaved off.
Nice.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too good.
Turia's back at Concord Hospital under the care again of burn specialist Professor Peter Hirsch.
I'm really hoping that we find something with my nose.
Well, I tell you, so am I.
Yeah.
So am I.
Now, how's that looking? What are you thinking there?
Well, I wanted to make a nose out of a forehead, but the blood supply isn't there to support it.
Reconstructing Turia's nose is difficult. It's not just cosmetic. Her nasal passages are blocked and the scarring is thick. Today's exploratory surgery has left Professor Hirsch and Turia with limited options. And one of them is extreme and groundbreaking.
We're trying very much to look at doing something for her, but at the end of the day, and we've discussed this with her, she is a candidate for a facial transplant.
Now, that would be a first in Australia.
It would be an Australian first, yes.
It's a very big decision to make, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Psychologically, a very big step.
Yes, very. And of course for a partner, you know, what happens when he kisses her? They're not her lips anymore. They're somebody else's lips.
It's not a decision Turia and Michael are going to make overnight. And understandably, it's a contentious choice. How would you feel about taking someone else's face?
Well, it's not just me that we've got to think about. Like, we've got to think about Michael as well, because he'll have to look at that face. You know what I mean?
What are your initial thoughts?
What my understanding is, it's one big operation rather than 20 small operations.
Yeah, but, like, there's no point us worrying about it.
No.
We're just going to go through the steps, evaluate all the options and decide which one's best for us.
Well, you're deciding, it's not me, it's your decision.
Yeah. Like, we've just got to go through all our options. One of them's a prosthetic nose, but I'm a bit worried about that because I can just imagine in the morning being like, saying to Michael, "Have you seen my nose? Where's my nose?"
Coming up, Turia and Michael's big plans.
We'll have kids and I'll say, "Mummy is really badly burnt," they won't care, like.
And after 2 years of avoiding our questions, do you accept any liability at all? We tracked down the race organiser. Is there any sorry or compassion for Turia Pitt? Since suffering horrific burns during that Outback Marathon in 2011, Turia's sole focus has been her physical and mental recovery, a long, hard road back to independence. But there's one fight that Turia still has to win, holding the organisers of the doomed race to account. Despite damning findings by the Western Australian government, Racing the Planet has refused to accept liability or offer Turia adequate compensation. The owner, Mary Gaddams, runs it through a web of international companies and for 2 years has avoided our questions and evaded our cameras. Finally, after a search across 3 continents, we've tracked her down. Hi, Mary.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hey, good. Who is that?
Michael from 60 Minutes Australia. How are you?
Oh.
This is Mary Gaddams, founder of Racing the Planet. I've come a long way, but I'd like to talk to you about Turia Pitt, if you don't mind. And this is her running in the Kimberley Marathon 2 years ago.
See you later.
How you been going, Mary?
Good. It was definitely a hot stretch.
The same race which changed Turia Pitt's life forever. There's Turia, 24, strong and athletic, early on the day of September 2nd, 2011.
Well done.
100 kilometres of outback terrain lies ahead. And in this footage, never seen before, Turia's spirits are high.
How's it going?
But an hour and a half later, Turia would be running for her life.
And I remember just screaming for help. But no one came. And then I realised no one was coming to help. And I sort of just shut up after that. Yeah.
The WA parliamentary inquiry was damning of the organisers' conduct on that day.
Racing the Planet was aware of fires on and the vicinity of course prior to and on the day of the event.
And it's now clear the degree to which Racing the Planet misread or ignored the warning signs right from the beginning.
Hey, we got 2 Americans.
As Mary Gaddams competed, her husband, Alistair Morrison, on the left, was also on the course manning checkpoints. Here, he remarks on the bushfires 3 hours before Turia was burned.
Oh, look at the fire now. Whoa.
But not enough is done to monitor the fires.
Cheers.
In fact, from the very beginning, organisers think it's all under control.
The fires has been extinguished, so there are no more fires. Well, a little bit next to the road, but everything should be okay.
But it was far from okay. Turia and other runners were waved through checkpoints without any warnings.
Quite a decent grass fire that you can hear.
Even the front runners reported the dangers.
The fires are pretty bad. There's a lot of kind of smog happening as well. I think that they may consider driving some of those people around because it's fire, like it can be really volatile, the wind can change, and it was moving with quite speed, and the flames weren't just like on the ground, they were quite high.
By this stage, Turia and 3 other runners lay extensively burned on a hillside.
Some of the guys had some Panadol.
Just Panadol, that was it.
Yeah.
Faulty and misleading communications.
How many people are injured? There's 2 people missing, there's nobody injured.
And Racing the Planet's flawed emergency plan...
We've got an aircraft here without a stretcher. We're chasing last night.
...would mean nearly 4 hours would pass before Turia is airlifted to hospital.
My first memory of being in hospital is like I sort of wake up and then Michael's crying and he's saying to me, aren't you happy to be alive? And I was just thinking, no way, like, why am I even alive? Like, because, and that was at the very start when I couldn't do anything for myself. And, you know, I couldn't even talk.
Was that hard when, at that low point, Turia wasn't optimistic herself?
I couldn't even tell them, like, let me die. So, yeah.
Well, she couldn't speak, so I didn't know what she was thinking, and I suppose you're just happy when you think they're going to die and then you see them start living again, you're like, oh, there's hope, you know? So every day was a new day, it was a day closer to her getting out of hospital, and you just held on to that hope. But yeah, it was tough.
Since that disastrous day, Turia may have made extraordinary strides in her recovery, but her battle for compensation has been stonewalled by Racing the Planet, as it denies any liability for Turia's injuries. And the globe-trotting Mary Gaddams has flatly refused to answer our questions. But we finally tracked her down, in, of all places, Iceland. You accept any liability at all for the injuries that they suffered? I'm wondering if you have anything to say. Is there any sorry or compassion? Do you have any words for Turia Pitt? Excuse me. I know this must be not easy for you, but for a long time we've been wanting to ask you questions. Turia is up against the stony silence of an international giant. Racing the Planet still organises endurance races all over the world, like this one in Iceland, where the 270 runners paid nearly $4,000. Various arms of Racing the Planet are registered in Hong Kong, the United Kingdom, British Virgin Islands, with the parent in the tax haven of Cayman Islands. Turia's lawyers can't even find out if Racing the Planet was insured for the Kimberley Marathon. We formally requested many times to talk to you, and your lawyers seem to be playing a very long, drawn-out legal game with Turia and her lawyers. This is a girl who has been permanently disfigured, and she needs some help right now in the treatment that she's receiving. Do you have anything to say directly about Turia Pitt or to Turia Pitt?
I received an email early on from Mary Gaddams, the founder, and I said, are you going to help and support Turia? And I've got it there in the email. She says, oh, I can't meet up on the basis of help and support for Turia. So we found out early on that it was going to be a challenge for us, you know, to pursue them.
I mean, you're running away now, and now you don't want to answer the questions? Do you have any care or compassion for what Turia has been experiencing? Not a word to say, not a word at all. And where does that sit with you, Turia?
Well, there's not much I can do about it. She's decided to take that course of action, and good luck to her. What happened to me is bloody sad, but I'm just, you know, trying to go about life as best as I can. I'm trying to do something with my life.
And you are?
Yeah, exactly. So.
Meanwhile, Mary Adams and husband Alistair Morrison have been getting on with their lives, based in Hong Kong and travelling the world. Morrison is the former Asia chairman of Morgan Stanley. Worldwide, the banking giant manages almost $350 billion worth of assets. The couple have property in Australia too. This is their $7 million pad near Byron Bay. It's a long way from Iceland, where events have taken a bizarre turn. After our encounter with Mary, something quite strange has been happening. One of her racing the planet vehicles has been following us for the last half hour or so. Every turn we make, they follow. We go the other way, they follow. It's becoming quite a farce.
You know, I don't want to seem like a whinging sort of Aussie and blame them, but the facts are there, you know. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, there's no amount of money in the world that could make up for what we've lost. But we're just getting on with our lives. Yeah! Muscles. Put that away.
To that end, Turia and Michael have recently taken a big step. They've just moved in together.
Put that away.
And while there are still big decisions to be made about future surgery, today, another important milestone. Turia's having her eyebrows filled out with permanent tattooing.
They look bloody good. Thank you. I'm really happy with that.
Turia's also gone back to uni. And Michael is studying environmental science. But soon, they're going to put all that on hold.
Well, next year we're going to go on holiday for 6 months, 2 years, who knows.
Just get away.
Yeah, and that would just be a time for us to have fun as boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, and each day is better than the last one, and I just think, what will we be doing next year? What will we be doing in 5 years? What will we be doing in 10 years? And we're both still young, we've still got our whole lives ahead of us.
And before you know it, 10 years will have passed and...
Yeah, you know, we'll have kids and I'll say, Mummy is really badly burnt, they won't care, like...
No, you mentioned kids, is that in the planning?
Nah, not anytime soon.
Michael?
No, we want to live life for a bit now.
Yeah, we want to have a bit of fun, like, we've had 2 really hard years.
The hardest?
Yeah, but they're the hardest years of our life. We know that kids are tough, but we don't think it'll be that hard compared to what we've been through, but who knows.
For all the trials they faced and still have ahead of them, the one thing Turia and Michael have learnt they can rely on is each other.
I'm not going to lie and say, oh yeah, it's been bloody great.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's not fair of what's happened and life should be better.
Yeah, and the fact that we're still together, I mean, I know a lot of people would have broken up.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really lucky to have him.
That's
what do
nice.
you say? I'm stoked she's alive.
Hello, I'm Liz Hayes. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9 Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.